on a Friday night. Right, doing something about it.
Okay. All right. So welcome to the Manchester Business NLP Group. Our first time in this weirdly shaped room. Hopefully our last time in this room as well. But that's just where they've put us tonight. So, first meeting of the year, and we've got a real treat for you. It's NLP trainer and sports coaching expert, worked with some of the absolute top Premier League football clubs, for example. And you're going to be discovering how some of the secrets of successful sporting mindset, as modelled with NLP, can be applied in your both your business and I think your personal life. Is that right?
Can indeed.
Yep. So, as always, like any performer, the bigger the hand you give him, the better he's going to be. So, a really big hand, please, for Jimmy Patricia. Okay, so thank you, Andy, and thank you all for coming along this evening. Just a little bit about myself. I first got involved in all things personal development, psychology, NLP, CBT many years ago. My aim was to help young offenders, help children in care. And having done that, and having gone to uni and studied communication and studied NLP and different interventions, my own sports career, I got lucky, took off, and it took me around the world, and I did okay. Having done that, injury cut my own career prematurely. And I felt that I would turn my attention to coaching, and I focused on coaching and working with different teams, people who compete at the highest level in the sport, and I enjoyed it. And I've kind of done full circle now. I'm back working with offenders again, which I originally intended doing, but I still do a lot in sport and business as well. So I consider myself lucky to have worked with a number of people across a broad range of areas, and I consider myself lucky that I've had some fantastic athletes. Someone said to me when I was embarking on a coaching career, choose the right athletes. And I've been fortunate to do so, and it's gone on to do okay. But first of all, I'd like to start with a short story about the mind and how important it is in every area of life. Years ago, when I was working as a conditioning coach, many years ago, I'm not going to say how long ago, I was working with a swimmer, and she swam the English Channel a few times, I believe, and her aim was to swim as far as she had ever gone before. And her aim was to swim from a point in Italy, if I can remember, to across to Africa. It was a 45-mile swim. And we'd worked physically for a long duration. Things were going really well. Then a week before she was going to leave and go for a swim, she started behaving a little bit more differently, a little bit nervous, a little bit edgy. I thought, well, this is a bit strange. It's not like a confident usual self. So we'd come in the gym, we'd do our session for an hour. I wasn't her swim coach, I was a physical conditioning coach. And I thought, well, we're doing well. Everything's on par. All the tests are going really well. Everything's fine. Then it was the night before she was going to leave and fly out to Italy to get ready for a swim, which was going to be a couple of days time. She phoned me up, and it was in the days where we weren't using the mobile phones. I got a call, I thought, are you okay? Is everything okay late at night? And she says, well, you know what? I'm afraid. I said, well, it's perfectly normal to be afraid. I'd be afraid too if I was swimming 40 odd miles. She says, no, you don't understand. I feel afraid. I said, okay, well, what are you afraid of? She says, well, I'm actually afraid of water. I thought, no, this is a this is a now. This is the dressing room sports banter. She says, no, under a lot of pressure, it's happened before. I've got a fear. I've got a fear that something might happen in there. And she's had that fear. She had that fear for many years. And I realised at that point the importance of the mind, because we were fine-tuned. She was ready to go, fine-tuned athlete, good to go, done everything we possibly can. The mind, under pressure, was starting to play a few tricks. And we did a little bit of work. Psychological interventions, and we overcame it. She went on to do really well. She got a fantastic time and conquered that so-called fear. And it's truly amazing how the mind works and how powerful the mind is. I think everyone in the group has got an insight into how powerful the mind can be. The aims of the seminar, the aims of going for gold, is about obtaining that 1%. That 1% that is the difference between a top world-class athlete and maybe the 50th in the world. One of the keys is, and one thing we look at is, we take the Olympics for example. The last Olympics, you've got the world's top sprinter who wins in 9.7 whatever seconds, the 100 metres. Now, if you go 1% underneath that, you've got the group who are watching at home on TV who haven't qualified for the event, let alone competing. So that 1% is the difference between very successful and possible mediocrity. And we can take that and transfer that to anybody's life, in any area, whether it's business, whether it's sports, whether it's personal lives. It's that little 1%. And I think that 1% comes from determination, it comes from self-belief, it comes from a number of psychological factors. Most importantly, it comes from being in control to what's going on inside you, because you can't really control what goes on externally. You can only control yourself, and you can only react every way you can to what is going on around you. Some of the best athletes in the world, best sportsmen in the world, are masters of doing that. While the world is falling apart around them, they produce some of their best performances. People think, well, how has he or she managed to do that? And one of the ways they manage to do that is by using different psychological strategies, and also having fine-tuned their mind to compete under massive levels of pressure and stress. The world we live in today is different to what it was many, many thousands of years ago. Everyone come across the fight or flight syndrome. We either fight or flight. Years ago, we used to either fight under certain situations or flight. And the circumstances were different. We didn't have what we have now. We didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have cars, we didn't have traffic jams. So along the way, we're secreting high levels of cortisol throughout the day. And then levels of cortisol are building up in our body. And it's how we react in different situations. Now, it's not doing our health any good, and also it's not doing us any good in terms of how we react to different circumstances. We're getting up in the morning, you've got to go to work, you've got meetings, you've got your week planned, and the key is to be able to react at the right time, in the right way. One of the ways and one of the keys, feel free to join in, because we're going to keep it interactive, because I want you to come along and get as much as you possibly can from the seminar itself. If you're going to sit back and relax, then that's fine as well. The key is, and there are many other ingredients and many other factors that are important. We're going to cover some key points this evening that I feel over time are important and paramount to being successful in any area. One of the first areas I want to look at is taking responsibility. I'm sure we've all come across people who blame everything but anyone for the set of circumstances they're in, or anybody else. In NLP, we've got cause and effect. Cause being the people who do the running, and effect being a victim of circumstances. So acting and reacting, two different levels. And the key is, have you ever come across the people who always have an excuse for their set of circumstances or the situation they're in? Whatever it is, whether it's their partner, whether it's their job, whatever the situation is, there's always an excuse for not being able to be the best they can be. Whenever I talk about the responsibility, a lot of people say, okay, but how do you explain certain events? How do you explain someone who's been hit by a car? How do you explain someone who has had an accident? How do you explain someone who's been a victim of a crime? Well, there are things that are happening in life, that there are injustices, there are things that go on that are difficult to deal with. And when I work with the offenders, some of the stories I hear, and working with a group of offenders that have committed certain levels of crime against people, and one of the keys is to realise that somewhere down the line, someone has to make a difference somewhere to stop this cycle and move things going forward. And the cause and effect, the taking responsibility is key. It's responsibility. And the key is, regardless of what's happened to us, we've got a choice in what we do to go forward. And many